Hello. Here's a part of my story. It all started when my uncle Donnie, who was only 3 years older than I am, and I were playing Mass when we were little kids. I was in charge of Mass and was always the priest. Donnie was always in charge of the music, since he played the trumpet, and not too well from what I recall. Oh, I also played marriage with my neighbor Marcella Pratt, but she was in charge of playing marriage, and I always had to ask her what to do, and she would always answer the same thing. I yell at you, and you yell back. It was only later that I discovered that her folks might not have had the best relationship, but that's another story. A little later, enter Father Henry Bauer, newly ordained priest and associate pastor of my parish, St. Mary's in Independence, Missouri. Father Bauer was funny, liked kids, was kind, had good sermons, took time out for anyone, listened to everyone. He was always smiling, it seemed, and genuinely liked by the whole parish. When I was in the 8th grade, he took me and a classmate, Neil, to St. John's High School Seminary. I guess he was doing his thing to foster vocations. The Vincentians ran the seminary for the Diocese of Kansas City, St. Joseph. At the time, I had never heard of a Vincentian or of a high school seminary. But the seminary rector, a priest named Father Lee Zimmerman, and the dean of students, whose name is Father Pete Delaberto, and all the older seminarians at the seminary were all so friendly and inviting, I thought maybe I should go there to St. John's. Neil thought the same thing, and so we did. I should mention that my parents never expected me to have any one vocation. They always taught me to be whatever I wanted to be, but always to do my best to do it well. I should also mention at the time that I never gave one thought to becoming a priest. What grade school kid does, now that I think about it? Well, 3 years later, I found myself admiring the Vincentian priests and brothers that I met along the way, and I decided maybe I should try to become one of them. So I did. I tried that. Fast forward another 10 years. It was May 23rd, 1968. Bishop Grady, an auxiliary bishop of Chicago, laid his hands on my head, making me a Vincentian priest. At the first solemn Mass I celebrated by myself, I remember my grandfather remarking how it was just like a wedding, but with no girl. My father, at the reception following that Mass, echoed that same sentiment. On the top of the cake, I remember very well, he had placed one of those plastic bride and groom statues, but he had snapped off the bride and painted a little Roman collar on the groom. It looked a little lonely, to tell you the truth, especially since you could still see the tabs where the bride was attached. Now here we are some 55 years later. I have to tell you, it's been a wonderful, wonderful gift of priesthood and of belonging to the community, the congregation of the mission of St. Vincent de Paul. And I pray that one day I will thank God in heaven for this great gift.